be up there on Saturday, Wednesday evening too, with luck. That's the local squadron of the Royal Auxiliary Air Force. There are lots of us in it. Wartime types, ATC cadets, chaps who've done their national service, and between the lot of us, we'll soon have a fully fledged squadron. We train mostly at weekends, and in the evenings too when we get the time. The atmosphere is very friendly. Everyone knows everyone else. That's old Ginger. Even he's back. And that chap standing in the middle of the group is a regular. We have several of them here to keep our training up to date, look after things while we're away, and get the planes ready for us at weekends. Not that we couldn't do it ourselves, because we have fitters who know their job backwards, as well as armorers and all the other members of ground staff who are every bit as important as pilots. Joe here's a window cleaner in private life, and Charlie, who's guiding in B. Baker there, used to look after Spitfires in 42. This is Bill Bates getting out of the cab. He's just joined us. Comes a long way, too. Of course, he gets his fare paid, so he's not out of pocket. He was in MT during the war, so he's just the boy for the Bowser. There isn't much time to change into flying kit while the kites are being refueled, because, believe me, it doesn't take them long to get ready again. They believe that the place for aeroplanes is in the air, so everyone does his best to get them airborne again as soon as possible. And although, at the moment, we could do with many more ground crew, the day may come when we'll all be glad that these boys are as good as they are.
Norman 1 in Ubu Baker. 4808, 4808.
Hello, Norman 10. Star 1 calling. Your position 10 miles north of Margate. Steer 180 for base. Over.
Roger D, listening out. When next you see a plane in the sky, think of these people down here in the operations room. They can see it too, right here on these plotting tables. This is another auxiliary fighter control unit. And here, too, they need more men and girls to be trained in the fascinating work of raid reporting, plotting, and controlling the fighter aircraft. That auxiliary plotted hindquarters on a table just like this during the Battle of Britain. And now she's helping another girl to learn the job. Without radar, the job of plotting modern high-speed aircraft would be almost impossible. These giant aerials, sending out continuous beams, track down and locate planes instantly. As these unseen fingers find their target, the telltale image appears automatically on the screen in the control cabin. Then, minute by minute, the latest information goes up on the tote. Information not from radar alone, but also from the Royal Observer Corps, who flash their news by telephone and by teleprinter. Radar needs a lot of looking after. But these technicians, trained in the Royal Auxiliary Air Force, can cope with most maintenance problems. Although, of course, the sergeant in charge is kept a very busy man. Well, that's all part of the job, too, really, because he's also in charge of welfare down at the town headquarters. And when they finish the intricate tasks they're doing here, you'll probably find they'll all go off together for a cup of tea. You see, town headquarters is also our clubhouse, and every member of the squadron is also a member of the club. Here, the pilot can take a drink with the man who services his plane. The radar mechanic can out-cannon the armorer. And as for the girls, well, the girls can talk. But the clubhouse is also the town headquarters, and here, amongst all our other activities, they often arrange lectures.
This particular tube is a 12-inch tube, which will give you a much clearer picture.
Will this new tube affect the grid map?
No, not really. You will be able to find your V-battery quite satisfactorily, I'm sure. Well, onto your cylinder, and onto the face of your gas piston, which carries to the rear the unlocking plate rod. This, in turn...
This is the model of a Meteor 3 aircraft with which you're all so familiar. The Meteor 3 is now being superseded by the Meteor 4 aircraft, which is the modern jet fighter.
And 1/3 of it enters the... Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Flight. Do carry on. I sometimes drop in on these lectures just to take a look behind the scenes at the jobs that keep me and my plane in the air. Training goes on all the time. But the high spot of each year is the summer camp when, for 14 glorious days, we work as a fully manned operational squadron. We've never finished learning in this job, but whether we're on the ground or in the air, we who join the Royal Auxiliary Air Force would rather learn what we can here and now than risk having to learn it the hard way when it may be too late to know the answers.